Now, looking at it from the lens of having conversations to challenge gender norms and empower the girl child. This is what we will be talking about here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And to do justice to this, we have here Raquel Kasham Daniel. She is an educator, a social entrepreneur, and an advocate for the girl child. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon.
Good
Guys, she's
afternoon.
beautiful too. So
Oh, thank you.
I must say that it's good to have you here, and we cannot wait to tap into your world of knowledge and, of course, to educate people on what they need to know to, challenge gender norms and empower the girl child.
exactly, and this is a conversation that has been on for a very long time. And like we said, it's not somewhere that is or something that is going out anytime soon. And just before the show, we were talking about how the more we amplify our voices to ensure that this norm is being challenged, the more results we will get. And this is pretty much what we're about here and today. So yes, guys, you already know it's been on, and this is like day 8 of that activism. Tell us about it.
Okay, so the 16th Day of Activism is a global campaign. It's a campaign against violence that is against women and girls.
Yeah.
So it starts on November 25th annually to December 10th. So November 25th is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. So it starts that day, the campaign starts that day and ends on the 10th of December, which is the World Human Rights Day.
Yeah.
So during that day, globally, organizations will come together or individually in their communities, or like I'm doing on radio, go around and just raise awareness and educate people about gender-based violence on women and girls.
All right. And how has that been for this year? Because I've seen a lot of women, put pictures. I think FIDA also had the anniversary and they also campaigned against, gender-based violence and what have you. But for this year, what's the turnout like?
It's more because with the theme no excuses, it and this unites for gender-based violence, it became more because a lot of people are coming together now to raise their voices and knowing that the more we do, the better the outcomes we'll get.
Okay.
So if we say we're not getting results and we start to decline our efforts, we will see a decline in the work that we're doing. So it's getting more and more organized. Even younger girls are beginning to join the fight, knowing that I'm in my community, I'm being harassed sexually, or I'm in university, I'm being harassed sexually, I can do something about it.
All right. So just before we get into the entire conversation, because it's one that we have a lot of examples and simulations, especially because of the subject matter. So how do you define gender-based violence, and why is it such a pressing issue in today's society?
So gender-based violence is gender that is targeted at an individual because of their gender. So it doesn't have it's either male or female.
Okay.
So the reason why it's done so we say gender-based is because people are harassed just not because they are male or female, just because somebody is just being stupid, really. I hope I can say that on radio. But people are targeted because they are women, and some people are targeted because they are men, and so that's gender-based violence. So if you're targeted because of your gender, specifically because you're either male or female, it's gender-based violence.
Now, why is it such a pressing issue?
It is because the gender-based violence is not just the word it says. Violence in the word is also a triggering word because and violence goes beyond just sexual or physical harassment. There's also psychological harassment. There's cyberbullying. There's roadside harassment or and all that. So there's so many forms of violence against gender. And the most recent that we're talking about is also when women are driving and people start to insult you, because they just assume that because you're a female you can't drive. That's actually a form of violence and harassment.
Oh, wow.
So when you get educated on why violence is a big issue, you begin to see them shown up in a different part of your life. Even in your workplace, you realize that, this thing has been happening is actually violence. Or this is an abuse, and I didn't see it in that way because now you have an understanding of what violence is. That's why it's very important.
Beautiful.
All right, now, in many cultures, including ours, there are norms, or should I say traditions, that perpetuate gender based violence, or GBV as the case may be. How can we address some of these cultural barriers to protect girls and, of course, help promote their education?
That's a great question. Thank you. But I always say that the first place to start is to understand what gender, societal norms are, or gender related norms. When you say that with someone on radio, like, what are they talking about? So I'll give you a practical example. A woman doesn't have a male child, and she's been harassed in the family to go and have. That is violence on women and on a woman, clearly, because she has women and she doesn't have men, or a boy child, or a woman is married and doesn't have children, is being harassed in the family and she's being asked to go and sleep with the man's brother, is the same DNA to have children. Those are all violence. Or a mother not asking her daughter to take care of the family because she's the daughter and the boys are allowed to go and play soccer or play games. These are all forms of violence that people don't even know about. And so you see a girl that is raised in that household where her mother is constantly beaten by her dad because she doesn't have a male child. And the father not knowing that it's his responsibility to provide a male heir. He's not the woman that decides it. He has no clue. And the girl grows up thinking that that's how life should be. So she goes into a relationship and then, it continues that cycle, because that's how she grew up seeing. And so we can only curb that if we understand what it is exactly and all the various examples that can start reeling them out for you, like in a rollout sheet, and you begin to see, oh my God, this is what has happened to somebody. You meet a girl that maybe she leaves the boy off campus while you're in university, and she's washing his boxers, she's taking care of him, cooking for him, she'll miss classes, and you're like, what's wrong with this girl? I tell you, if you go back to the roots, started from her house, somebody in her home has told her that, oh, you're not good enough. And those are societal norms that have been accepted. So if we understand what societal norms are, we will know who first, and we understand them fully, then we can take a step further to say we want to eliminate them. And some of them are not bad to understand, to really understand it. It's just our approach to do it. If you tell a woman that we need a male child, it's not a bad thing to say that, because in some families they say we need a male heir to continue the family. So it's a good thing to be honest with you, but it's how it is done to women, because it's not the woman you're talking about, is the father.
He's the one
Or
gives
how
the chromosomes
that
make
determines
up,
that. Or you can go to your church and pray, or you're religious and pray about it, but it's not the woman that will suffer for it because of that. So some societal norms are not really bad. Even saying that people listen to their traditional rulers more than they listen to their spouses. In some communities, actually, that has helped them for a very long time. Where a woman has been abused, we go to the traditional rulers. They are the ones that will solve the matter. So if you go to a place and you say, why are you listening to your traditional rulers? He's not your husband. Don't know that is what could have solved a problem. So some gender related norm and some traditions actually are okay, but they've been bastardized. And so if we don't understand them, we are going to be perpetuating them ourselves as individuals, even as women. Sometimes we are the gatekeepers of this patriarchy. We are. We don't have to tell the girls, kneel down, greet your brother. We don't
even realize.
We don't realize much we are doing it.
I can remember one time someone came here for an interview, and the person was like the CEO of the company, and unconsciously she came there with another man, and she kept giving the man that take the lead, and unconsciously I called the man the CEO of the organization. And it was afterwards I realized that, that's what patriarchy has done to you. Like,
you already assumed
you
that
already
the CEO would be a man.
Exactly. You already assume that there's a position a woman cannot attain. And this thing comes from, the backlog of experiences we have, from our backgrounds, from what a lot of activism is being done.
Yes.
But how has this been done? Because it's one thing to be trying to do activism on a particular issue, or to advocate for an issue. There's another thing to do it rightly in the way that people can relate to it. But how has this activism been for you over the years?
I didn't start off advocating for women's rights, and my work started off working with children. So I work with children because background is that I'm the first in my family to go past high school. So I'm a golden egg, to say. And because of that, besides first to go past high school, I'm first to go do many things, So first to go travel abroad, first to go on radio, just, let me just, as I was saying, golden egg, kind of. So I'm very popular in my village, I dare say. And so because of that, I realized that if education has done this to me, I can help other children. And that's when my work started. So in doing that work, I realized that it was difficult to get some of the girls to go to school because I was targeting girls. And so I decided to go to the root cause of the matter. And that's where I stumbled on social norms, where a father would tell me that, don't give the girl scholarship, give her brother. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you understand? Like, it was weird to me. I didn't understand the term at the time. And so I started to advocate for girls without even knowing that that's what I was doing. But talking to parents, you can let your girls do this. If I can do this, you can do that. I'm not a man, but in my family, I get more calls than women get calls. And, I mean, some men get calls for either financial support or even to make a decision in the family. Because I've been educated and I've lifted myself up to a particular place. So you can do the same for your daughters. So I started advocating, and people said, this thing you're doing is advocacy. And that's actually when I realized that, what, I rather stop doing it in my small corner. I can amplify it. And so I still work in education for children because it's what I'm trying to solve. But you can't solve a problem without knowing the root cause, which is what is answering your question. A lot of times our campaigns are solving the problems and not the root cause. And so because of that, it continues to perpetuate. So we see things like, for instance, protect our girls all over the place. And very rarely have you heard people say educate the men or even educate the girls, because education is the tool that we need.
Yes.
Not just to say, so you can protect a girl by keeping her at home, but if you don't tell her anything, the moment she steps out, she's not armed with anything else. So we can do more with our campaigns by ensuring that we have elements of education in our campaigns from home. It starts from the family. And that's where most people are not. People are starting from, you go to school and talk to girls and they go back home and they're hearing something else at home. And you're not talking to their parents, you're not talking to their community leaders, you're not talking to other people that they hang around with. Even the boys. So you want to talk about sex, for instance, you go to a school, you lock up the door and put the girls in one room and you're talking to them. And that's all. And the boys that are supposed to talk to you, they are outside. So most times we are doing it wrong. And when we go back to our drawing board and we say, what exactly are we doing here? What exactly is the root cause of this problem? Is it poverty? Because we've seen a man where was abusing his wife and they called us. And we went in and we tried to find out what the challenge was. It was because the man lost his job. The man kept saying, the man was not like this before. When did he start? We realized it was after he lost his job. So anything she does triggers him. That's not an excuse, like I said, that's the theme for this thing. But we realized that in order to solve this problem, we'll go back to the beginning. First, the man has to go to counseling to understand the deeper issues, where it started from, where anger issue has been deeply rooted in him. That will be sorted out later, but he needs to get a job.
That's like the first step.
Yes. So you get him a job, but then you now say he's going to go to counseling. So that you can sort out. Then he now realizes that, he has seen his dad do it. So because of that, the moment he got into an opportunity, he just transferred it. So if he has not been in that opportunity, he might not have done it. But he got the opportunity and that thing had not been dealt with. So really, when we go into our advocacy or our campaigns, I always say to a lot of people in the sector and my friends, I say, go to the root cause. Find out exactly what the problem is. And you can realize, we have a girl who says, her brother has raped her several times. And we realized that, no, it wasn't true, actually. It wasn't entirely true. True, the brother and her were having consensual sex. So, and she was the one that came on to him the first time. And so he beat her up. And then he told his friend, and the friend was like, guy, free. Please, with that guy in your class that you're trying to date that's not dating your sister, please go ahead. And then he went ahead. So when she now said she didn't want to anymore, he said she has to continue. Then she went to report. Then we were saying, arrest the boy. And the boy was still saying, it's not me. And I felt there was something off. And then we said, let's deal with this matter from the beginning. When did it start? And the matter now turned. So sometimes we deal with the matter, we lock up the person because, like I said, no excuse. But while you do that, treat the issue from the root. If you don't do that, we just keep shouting for many years.
But the thing is, there's a very thin line between what you have said now and what happens most of the time. The girl has given her consent for a long period of time. And then she eventually says, you know what, I don't want to continue with this consent again. Which is okay.
Very okay.
Which is okay. But many people don't understand it from that point of view. You keep saying, you gave me your consent before, it means I will always have your consent. And that's where rape starts.
Yes.
Because I'm entitled to your consent. Because I've done it before, it means I will do it again. And I know that this activism too should include something like this. But how have you been able to reach out to the boys too? Because it's not all about protecting the girls, like we said here. It's all about also educating the boys. I saw a clip, it's like, I can't even remember it's like a skit. And the girl was talking about how someone came and reported that, I was raped, the boy raped me and now I'm pregnant. And they asked her, how did you get raped? And she said her parents, her mother told her that if the boy touches her, she's going to get pregnant. So that was like an ignorant thing. The guy actually touched her. He didn't sleep with her. He touched her and she claimed that she had gotten pregnant. Now this is the misinformation that a lot of mothers are giving out to their daughters and their children. That's touching. What kind of touching? They want to even call some of their private parts of the body.
They're always
and
very hard about it.
Exactly. How have you been able to educate first the boys? Secondly, to undo what the parents have done to the minds of the girls. And then thirdly, to educate the mothers or the parents as well that give out that information.
So our current project, which is called Beyond Her Odds, is a 1-year project, started in August, ending next August. And part of our KPI is to educate 5,000 boys. And so it's part of our project. Then we do 10,000 girls in 10 schools, but then 5,000 boys, because we realize that the boys have to be educated. There's no saying. So part of our advocacy is I'm supposed to write a book. Part of the project is to write a book that will be for both boys and girls to read about girls' rights and what they can do to educate yourself and protect girls in your life. So the book's not just targeted at girls, it's for both boys and girls. So that's the tool we're using. I made a board game recently that was launched on International Day of the Girl Child. The board game is on teaching anyone that wants to, boys and girls or parents, about girls' rights and basic things that you can do to educate yourself about the girl child and the violence against girls and abuse. And that's called, the board game is called Go Girl. And so, and these are just two tools that I've created beside other books I've written, like a body safety book and safety savvy book for children. I've written several books on this matter because I believe that with books we can use to educate people, and more of books and education than awareness. That's actually a tool. And for the parents, I like to use this example, which a friend of mine gave me many years ago, and said a woman she took a full chicken, cut off the legs, and she put it in the oven. And her daughter sees the mom doing it all the time and says, "Mommy, why do you always do this?" And mom said, "I don't know. That's how my mother used to do." So let's ask grandma. And we asked her. Grandma said, "I don't know. That's how my mother used to do." We asked great grandma. Great grandma said, it was when the oven was small. So I have to break the legs so that I can enter. You that you have big oven, why are you still doing it? Say, but you didn't tell my mother. My mother did not tell me. And now I'm about to pass it to my daughter. If the girl did not challenge that norm, she would have passed it to her own daughter. So you now realize that in this family, all we're doing is we're breaking legs of chicken to put it in the oven. And you think it's norm, but no, it's not, because somebody was doing it because there's a reason why. So to understand, one person has to challenge it. One person, so we always educate the girls to say, challenge the norm. If your mom says to you, for instance, you have to say, "Mom, but why do I have to?" Start with that. Sometimes when you don't ask, your mother will know, "Mom, you're not supposed to, why are you not supposed to be the only case?" "Mom, but we're both human. The boy is a boy, we're all human. Why do we have to?" Sometimes we don't even challenge it. And because we're raised to just be complicit. Oh, yes, everything, yes, mommy, yes, mommy. Nobody says, I have a wish to fix this girl's question.
And that's
Never.
And that's the problem. If you look at this, that's the problem a lot of people will have with Gen Zs. Because there's so much to learn from these people. And one thing I notice about these Gen Zs is they don't just take instructions without asking
Tell
why
me about it.
You know, it's offensive to a millennial. It's annoying.
It's sometimes to us, I'm like, what are
you
they
know,
doing? What
like,
are they doing?
what is wrong? Do you think it's annoying?
Yes.
But I mean, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
They never get lost. They always make quick progress because they ask questions.
You know, there is this video that is trending online. This toddler, her mom, I think she did something, and her mom was about to punish her. She should kneel down, and then she's telling the mom that, is she a teacher?
Are you a teacher? I saw that.
Do you have a big cane or a small cane? She's trying to negotiate with her mom whether there is
I
something
love
she can
the
do
girl
about
was
it.
so pretty. Like I love.
She's raising a confident child to
Yes.
negotiate. So sometimes, and she's like, I know that I've done something, but there's something we can do about this. Is there another way I can serve this punishment? And then, okay, she knows that it's not working, and then she goes ahead to do the love sign. "Oh, mommy, I love you."
Still didn't work though.
But she tried. I think it just goes to show that we should raise confident boys and girls. You shouldn't make them to feel that being confident is a crime. You know, a lot of parents in the past, and maybe when they are confident, that, "Oh, you're not supposed to be outspoken, you are too bold, you are too forward." Yes, there should be an extent to which they should be forward, but don't shut them down.
And don't because you as a parent might be okay with what your child is doing, but they go on somewhere and they're like, "You talk too much, you do that a little too much," and you as a parent, you condone. I was seeing a question where someone was asking, would you allow your parents to scold your child even if it's something that you had already told the child to do? And I'm like, regardless of who that is, as a mother, I know the kind of values I want to imprint in my child. So there are certain things I should not accept. But you see, this culture of abuse, it keeps going on and nobody does anything about it. So what do you think is one of the biggest ways we can change this? Because I know that the family plays a very vital role in changing this norm. But unfortunately, some of our parents don't know better. And so many parents do not know better because they don't question the status quo, or they don't question the norm. You know, the kind of children we raise and all of that. What tools do you think, are quite important to changing this?
So your first question was, where do we start from?
Yeah,
then
where
what
do we start
tools?
from?
So where we start from, I always say the family is the bedrock of every society. Family is where you start from. And the way to reach parents right now is through the media, or through worship centers, or through PTIs, or that they attend, parent-teacher association, or whatever, all the places where parents, you can find parents. Reach them there. Because if you now try to build shop, And so if first place start is a family with a parent by using the media to reach parents. That's one tool is I've realized is that radio is a major tool.
Yeah, it is.
Is a major tool. That's why our focus of our sustainable activism in my organization is radio tour. It's actually a media tour, but more on radio because a lot of people listen to radio. I can ask how many people are tuning into your show, isn't thousands, right? And so even it's stored on your Facebook, people will see it eventually. So it's a tool. Use the media to reach the parents. All the parents, they watch all these skits, all these older people. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
They have all these, and they like forwarding things up and down. Use that, yes. Create those kits. Influencers that are these that want to reach the parents. Use that. Create those kits that the parents can see and begin to learn from these things because you're not just creating them, you're educating them on the matter. And if you need to create content that is targeted that follows a particular procedure that teaches, you can ask a teacher or someone in the school to say, I want to raise awareness on this matter as an influencer because I see this is the problem. How do I pass the message without it just being a drama, but it really pass the message? It can help you with building the scripts to be able to pass the message better. So you do that. That's a tool. And that tool we use is, like I said, worship centers. People listen to their religious leaders. You will not believe me.
Yeah.
You say my pastor said, my imam said, they will just do it. Someone just give her pastor $20,000. The man was complaining on Facebook. His wife said, what's going on? The man said, give $1,000 per the year that you've married. The man carried their savings and just gave the man. The man was like, what's going on? We just came abroad. We are still trying to save money to buy a house. The 20K we saved, you are giving your pastor. To show how much they listen to their spiritual leaders. So imagine a spiritual leader comes on the pulpit or wherever and says, no to violence against women. You men that are beating your wives, come to church. Come and talk to me. Wife, come and tell. We have a unit in church. All of them will align themselves. All the churches using or the religious platform are using their church programs to bring experts in to say, come and talk to the women. Come on.
I don't really want this to be like an echo chamber because it's likely that someone might want to contribute, ask you questions, and also to just share the knowledge round so that people would understand what you're doing here. That being said, you can call us on 09073530044 or send us a message on WhatsApp 09097054450. Observation, clarification, question, whatever it is, as long as it concerns this conversation, you can call us. Now, let me ask you, we've been talking about the prevention, but even though some people say prevention is better than cure, others will say prevention is actually cheaper than cure, but there are people that already gotten into this already, and we call them survivors.
Yes.
What is the place of survivors in your campaign?
So for survivors, we have a hotline, which is a mobile, right now is a WhatsApp chat where you can just send us a message to say, I'm out of this or I'm still in it. It depends on what, and then I need support. How can I come out of it? And then we can help you through the process and also lead you to the right authorities and tell you the steps you take to come out of it. So we're setting the situation to believe that to give you the safest way to come out. Because you won't call us there tomorrow morning, you're packing your bags to leave that station because some people don't have anywhere else to go.
Of course.
So we have to ascertain that station. So if you send us a WhatsApp message, we take it up from there. It's going to be a phone you're able to call in a period of time because we're setting up a physical safe space in Jeremy in our office. So that you'll be able to come to the office if you're able to leave the house and talk to someone at work and say, this is what is going on. And then we can take you through the steps and help you through to people who can give you help. So what we did was build a network of people who say either police to lawyers to non-profit that actually deal with these cases, on a daily basis. Because like I mentioned, that it's not our focus. Our focus is the children. It's a root cause we're trying to solve. So in order for us to do that, we decided to partner with other organizations so that we have them in our referral network. That way, when we act in the situation, we know which one you start with first. And so we're also doing campaigning to teach girls, if you ever are raped, what do you do first? It's not to stay at home and wait till the next morning. It's not to have a bath. It's not to go to a police station. It's to go to a hospital and first say, I've been raped. I want you to take a test so that they can have evidence. The hospital will take that test and then you can go to police reports and wipe. If you go to police report, all the keke you are climbing and the okada, you will lose evidence. But the closest hospital to you, once you go in and say, if it's a rape case, they won't ask you to go get a police report first. It's only when it's a crime or like a gunshot or whatever. But if it's a rape case, most hospitals have been equipped to know that there's a ton of evidence, and because of that,
Okay, I think we have our first
Madam, not be looking for mind and body.
Hello.
That's easier.
Oh.
That you do. All right, guys, please keep the calls coming through on 090735300 and 44 or 090970544 and 50. That's the WhatsApp number. Send us a message and we'll be right here. Remember, we're talking about gender-based violence, and it's the 16 days activism. I think we're on day 8, and we have been hanging out with Raquel Kasham Daniel, and she's an educator, social entrepreneur, and passionate advocate for girls' education and children's rights in marginalized communities across Nigeria. You might have a daughter, you might have a sister, you might have someone that has been abused, even your wife. She might be in the workplace and she's going through this kinds of things, and you probably don't know how to, address the issue. Because I feel like one of the major reasons people are really quiet about it is because they don't know how to address it or what to do
The
about
comforts
it.
that might come, it's not everyone they want to confide in.
Yes.
There are there are little or no safe spaces for the people to come out.
Exactly.
And sometimes the stigma that comes with you coming out, you are raped. Everyone is, you are raped. And then the victim is the one that is being looked one kind,
Yes.
and not the person that has done it. And this brings me to this question.
Yes, please.
Where is the place of law enforcement agencies? Because I feel they also need, the agents of our law enforcement agencies, they need a proper and a comprehensive level of education.
It's funny that they have a desk for this thing.
But when you go there, we already know what will likely happen. The reception is so hostile that the victim sometimes, you would rather not go, you just keep quiet. And this has continued to reinforce a culture of silence, because the judgment that comes from these people first. So how are you bringing these law enforcement agencies on board, so that is there a collaboration? Are you working towards that, or is there something like that in the works?
Okay, so I just explained in the previous question that even the hospitals are aware, and the reason why they're aware is because of the education that most hospitals have educated their first responders to say this is what you do when there's a rape case. Most police stations, when you go to there and say, "Oh, I've been raped," they tell you, "Have you gone to the hospital?" Because they are aware. Not all of them are. We hope that most.
But
most
how
of
are
them
they
say-
saying it?
you can't
They
control
how?
how people react on this matter.
But I'm
It
sure
is
you-
bad, I know.
yes.
And that's what perpetuates the culture of shame more, so even silence, like you mentioned. So but if you really want justice, I tell the girls all the time, if you want justice, you look past what the person is doing. You look past and say, "I need help, I have been raped." The person can tell you, "Have you gone to," the police officer told one of the girls, "Have you gone to hospital before coming here?" And after she knew, like, the idiot Ashewo, and she heard him, but he told her about hospital, but he gave her the information. But his comment was
His
like,
countenance.
She
what's all
won't
this
go
one?
back.
She won't go back, but she went to another police station. She went to the hospital, of course, and said, "Oh, I went." They said, "Oh, you didn't know?" I said, "I didn't know." And she got help in the hospital before she went back to another police station. And this one, she said she want to talk to a woman. They said, "Why you want to talk to a woman?" I mean, like, this one is because she went to the first one and just opened up, and she was called the prostitute. And so the second time she said she want to talk to a woman because she has a medical report and all that about, and it's confirmed that she has been raped. And before they now say, oh, they have a go gender desk, go gender desk and all that. And the girls don't even know that there is a gender desk. So most schools that we go to, we tell the girls there's a gender desk in police stations where the person that will attend to you on gender issues is there. So ask for the gender desk. Sometimes you just meet someone, a policeman that is just by the gate. You've not entered into the police station, and then you tell you, "Leave this place, Joe. What are you coming to?" Because he doesn't have the information. So I think that for law enforcement, the government the NGOs cannot reach all of them. But the government can reach all their people. One communique to one MD, everybody gets information.
Yes.
So that means the government are the biggest players, they have the budget, they have the most reach. You cannot do nothing without the government, really, if you really want to. And it's not, I'm not saying leave it all to the government. What we're doing are on our own little corners. The government can do so much.
Should be like an umbrella
They can
that
do
covers
so
your
much
efforts.
by saying, if we go through, if a person is abused, a man abusing his wife, and the wife wants to come out of this marriage, or maybe wants separation based and all that, what steps should she take? If you go through all the ministries and know which ministry and who is responsible, educate them, ensure that they know what to do when this person comes up, be empathetic towards and sympathize with them if you can. But no, you get the culture of, now you do them, see your tight skirt, your leg is even short, and all this thing they will tell you, I say your bra is down, and all this thing you're saying, you're damming her down And the person that's here to report now becomes the victim, and it now becomes the one that is more a victim than even a survivor.
You know something I want to say about that gender desk is, sometimes I know people who have gone to the gender desk and the women on that desk did the exact same
Yes.
thing to them. You know? So, like what you're doing now, and I know that the government has a lot of parts to play, but again, maybe these NGOs and maybe these organizations can also sensitize the government, because I used to see a lot of people doing this trainers kind of thing, and I think this is one of the things that should be done in this sector. Because have you seen a video where a girl was arrested in a police station and she was raped by police officers?
Yes.
It's a very trendy case.
Yes.
I think it happened sometime
Yes.
last month.
Yes.
I don't know the
But a few
progress
months
of that
ago,
case.
yes.
I don't know if anything is being done to that
The
police
man that was
officer.
about to retire.
Do you get? I don't
Yes.
know if anything has been. I'm a police officer in uniform, and then there's a gender desk, and a woman does not prefer me to occupy that desk.
Yes.
Maybe professionals need to be given that desk to handle, because I feel like they just give everyone the same training. They are not specialized training. I don't know if they do that in the police force, where, oh, this person is on the gender desk. The person doesn't need to be on the parade ground. Okay, yes, you can be on that field, you know, but you need a personalized training to function in that capacity that you have been given. What do you think your organization can do in training these people?
Most of them actually in the gender decks have been invited to come for trainings, and they've gone. So not a lot of NGOs have had trainings where they say all the gender officers in schools, we have gender clubs, and gender decks officials, police officers, come for specific training for yourself. What has happened is that the thing with people is that you can't control, like I say, you can't control how they behave. You can only keep imbibing and keep teaching people. So you know, if you teach the person on your training, and the person already had a preconceived notion about rape, or maybe she was raped before and nobody did anything about her, and she's still carrying that guilt and anger, and it was not dealt with, and she sees a girl, she just puts her anger on the person, no matter how much she's been trained. And also sometimes we train just one person and everybody else is not trained. If that person goes on leave, you're going on leave, you mentioned on radio, I heard you. What if there's somebody else that is trained to take your job while you're away? You know my point. So most time we don't train people to do these things. I'm not saying that all the people should learn, but actually some people should be listening to your show sometimes to understand how you come on radio, so that if that person is not around, another person can train the trainers. So this person comes and only one person is training the entire division, and the person is maybe might not be available. If she gets pregnant, she goes home, and gender desk is left open. Anybody just stay down there. Last nobody has been coming. Then one day one girl shows up and the person is not there. Or the person comes, the woman is cranky, she's tired, she wants to answer, and there's nobody else to refer her to. And she's like, let me just answer this guy. Let me just get her out of my back so that I can leave. So that more people should be trained, because there actually are trainings. This training is too much. See, we're wasting money on trainings again. We are doing a lot, but we just need to do more. People need to be trained so that we have more people in the force. So if you have 10 police officers, 10 of them should be trained. Don't say let's train 8. Everybody, because the police officer can be on the road, and then the girl just see a girl that is raped on the corner. He doesn't know what to do with her, because he says it's not a gender desk officer. So we shouldn't just train just because the person we should train everybody on these issues. And I'm saying that the MDAs, the government is able to reach them faster than anybody. Their AIG sends a message now. Their department, everybody, it will get to all of them. Every single one of them, even if it's a message or to say this video should be watched by each and every police officer, this online course on gender-based violence and abuse, they would watch it if their promotion depends on it, if their next salary depends on it. So that's how we can sometimes we need a strong handle. And I don't like to deviate, but if you see the case of Singapore, how they got to where they are, it was brutal. It was brutal. So if we sometimes to do this thing, it has to be brutal. So we have to say, if we really need to put an end to these things, we have to go all out. And so should we do more? Yes. Are we doing a lot? Yes. Can we do more? Yes. That's the answer.
All right, our time is really fast spent, but in just some seconds, what message would you like to share with young girls, parents, and the community leaders during this year's 16 days of activism?
Okay, so to parents, I would say, discard all these societal, gender-related norms that you have. Your girl children are as important as your male children, and you just the way you educate the boys, you give the girls the right to education. Especially fathers who think that their boys are more important. And you see the favoritism in the family when it has to do with their boys towards their girls. Please, you need to stop it. It's perpetuating a long-term effect on girls, where girls go into marriages, into relationships, into schools, and they have low self-esteem because of what you've done. And to girls who have been in families that this has happened to you, there's a way out for you. Get yourself educated. A simple Google search, how can I help myself build self-esteem, can help you. So the hours that you spend watching a YouTube skit that will not help your life, or a Instagram skit, use it to get yourself out of this thing. And if you can't self-help, there are a lot of people that can help you online and say, I need help. This was wrong with me. And to non-profit, we should go outside of just creating awareness to educating people. So when we have a walk against violence or whatever it is, don't just walk and people just say we had a walk. Give people documents that can educate them on what is going on. Sometimes I walk on people doing work against whatever, and I say, what's going on? Oh, we're just doing a walk. About what? And even the people that are working don't know what they're working about. So educate people and go further. The conversion cannot stop. We shouldn't say, because conversions are also actions. Let's see them as action steps. Let's continue talking. Let's use every means possible. Religious leaders, please, on your pulpits, talk about it. Don't shy away from these things. It's very, very important for your communities. And I'd like to end by saying that when children, when they are supported and they have a safe environment to thrive, it's good for not just the family, but for the world.
True. Absolutely. Anyways, guys, you already heard this, and honestly speaking, it's not a conversation that should end. I personally am very, especially when it's a conversation about girls, I'm very passionate about it because I have sisters, and anything could happen anytime. So if you know, like she said, if you know anywhere where you can report, there are NGOs, and I think that we don't do research enough. If you just check online, research organizations that can address these things, please do it. You see a neighbor that